Hello, everyone! When Enter the Dragon hit theaters in 1973, it wasn't just another martial arts film. It was a global phenomenon that transformed Bruce Lee into a legend, redefined action cinema, and introduced the world to one of the most charismatic black martial artists to ever grace the screen, Jim Kelly. With his explosive kicks, signature afro, and unshakable cool, Kelly became an instant icon, a symbol of pride and power at a time when representation in Hollywood was almost non-existent. But what most fans never figured out, until Jim Kelly finally revealed it years later, is that behind the fame, the applause, and the martial arts bravado, there was a painful reality. The truth about what happened on the set of Enter the Dragon and what followed after was far darker than anyone imagined. The world saw a rising star. Jim Kelly saw an industry that used him, misrepresented him, and ultimately shut the door in his face once the cameras stopped rolling. And his revelation, decades later, exposed not only Hollywood's hypocrisy, but also the quiet struggles of a man who became a hero for millions yet was left fighting battles he never asked for. Before he was a movie star, Jim Kelly was an athlete, a tennis prodigy and karate champion who broke racial barriers in competitive martial arts. Born in Paris, Kentucky in 1946, Kelly grew up facing discrimination long before he faced a camera. He turned to martial arts not just for self-defense but for discipline, self-expression, and survival. After earning his black belt, he opened his own dojo in Los Angeles, and it was there that fate intervened. Bruce Lee was casting for Enter the Dragon, his first Hollywood co-production, and needed someone to embody the character of Williams, a confident, self-assured martial artist from America with a rebellious streak and a heart for justice. Kelly, tall, graceful, and full of attitude, was perfect. But what most fans didn't know is that he wasn't the first choice. The role was initially meant for another actor who dropped out last minute, and Kelly landed the part almost by chance. Yet, that chance would change the course of his life forever, and not entirely for the better. On set, Kelly quickly bonded with Bruce Lee. The two shared a mutual respect. Both were disciplined, outspoken men of color fighting to carve out their own space in an industry dominated by white executives. But Jim would later reveal that not everything was as harmonious as it seemed. He spoke about how certain members of the crew, especially from the Western side of production, treated him differently, how they underestimated him, spoke down to him, and even tried to minimize his screen presence. Bruce Lee, according to Kelly, was furious about it. Lee reportedly told producers that Kelly's role was essential and that his character Williams represented something bigger, a new kind of martial arts hero who looked like the audiences that Hollywood ignored. Kelly would later say in interviews that he believed Bruce saw the injustice happening on set and fought quietly behind the scenes to protect him from being edited down or replaced. But after Bruce Lee's death, when Enter the Dragon was released posthumously, Kelly noticed that much of the film's editing favored Lee, which he understood, but also stripped away crucial parts of his own character's development. And that's where the heartbreak began. Despite his electrifying performance and instant popularity, Jim Kelly discovered that Hollywood wasn't ready to let a black martial artist rise to the same heights as Bruce Lee. He was offered roles that leaned heavily on stereotypes, angry black man, caricatures, or side characters who existed only to be killed off. Kelly refused many of them, which earned him a reputation for being difficult. But the truth, as he revealed later, was that he was simply standing up for dignity. "I wasn't going to play the servant or the criminal," he said in one interview. "I wanted to play the hero, because that's what my people needed to see." Yet, that integrity came at a price. The phone stopped ringing. Studios that had promised him multi-film deals backed out. He was quietly blacklisted from mainstream Hollywood, while his white contemporaries continued to get offers. Kelly pivoted to the world of blaxploitation films, movies like Black Belt Jones and Three the Hard Way, where he could at least portray strong, independent characters. For a few years, he became a cultural phenomenon. Kids wanted to dress like him, fight like him, and talk like him. He brought martial arts to black audiences in a way no one else had before. But even then, he knew the genre had its limits. He said later, "They let me be the hero for a moment, but they never let me be human." What he meant was that his characters were always one-dimensional, cool, tough, funny, but rarely allowed depth, vulnerability, Kelly or complexity. believed was Hollywood's greatest crime, giving him visibility without humanity. Decades later, when fans asked why his career seemed to fade after such an explosive start, Jim Kelly didn't hold back. He admitted that Enter the Dragon opened doors, but racism quickly slammed them shut. "I knew I had talent," he said. "I knew I could act." But they didn't want another black action star. He revealed that some of his post-Enter the Dragon projects were intentionally sabotaged by executives who feared that his rising popularity would challenge the industry's racial hierarchy. Even his relationships with co-stars and directors became strained as he fought for better scripts and fair treatment. "They didn't want me to speak out," he explained. "They wanted me to smile, kick, and disappear." By the late 1970s, Kelly quietly stepped away from acting, disillusioned but not defeated. He returned to sports, becoming a professional tennis player and coach, breaking barriers once again by competing in predominantly white tournaments. He lived a quieter life, far removed from Hollywood's glare, but he never lost his passion for martial arts or the fans who idolized him. In his later years, he began speaking out more openly about his experiences on Enter the Dragon. He revealed how much Bruce Lee's friendship meant to him, calling Lee the only person in Hollywood who truly respected me. He also revealed how Lee's death left him feeling abandoned, not personally but symbolically. "When Bruce died," he said, "it was like the hope for change died with him." The most shocking part of Kelly's revelation, though, was his acknowledgement of how deeply Enter the Dragon changed him, and not entirely for the better. He admitted that the fame brought him temporary happiness, but long-term isolation. He became a symbol for millions of fans around the world, but behind that symbol was a man who felt invisible. "Everyone saw the cool guy," he said, "but nobody saw the pain." He confessed that he sometimes resented the film that made him famous because it trapped him in a box he could never escape. And while he appreciated the fans' love, he wished they knew the truth, that his biggest fight wasn't on screen, but off it. When Jim Kelly passed away in 2013 at age 67, tributes poured in from across the globe. Fellow martial artists, actors, and fans remembered him not just for his kicks or his swagger, but for what he represented: defiance in the face of injustice. In the years since, documentaries and interviews have continued to unpack his legacy, revealing just how much he sacrificed to open doors for others. His honesty about Enter the Dragon has reshaped how fans view the film, not as a flawless masterpiece but as a product of its time, one that reflected both progress and prejudice. So when Jim Kelly revealed what most fans never figured out, that Enter the Dragon was both his greatest triumph and his greatest heartbreak, he wasn't just talking about a movie, he was talking about the reality of being a black man in Hollywood in the 1970s, celebrated on screen but sidelined in real life. His story is a reminder that even legends bleed, that sometimes behind the smooth confidence and cinematic glory, there's a lifetime of struggle hidden beneath the surface. Jim Kelly's legacy will always be one of courage, dignity, and quiet rebellion. And though his words may have come decades after the spotlight dimmed, they shine even brighter now, illuminating a truth that Hollywood still struggles to face. Talent can break barriers, but only truth can break chains. Thanks for watching.